Welcome to ASMcaR. The mic is on, and away we go. Today we are going to be doing a race recap of the 2025 Saudi Arabia Grand Prix at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit in Jeddah. If you want to see some basic facts, we had the first Grand Prix in 2021. The number of laps in the race is 50. The circuit length is 6.174 kilometers. And the race distance is 308.450 kilometers. The lap record was 1:30.734 by Lewis Hamilton in 2021. So, if you're new here, my name is Jake, and I really enjoy Formula One, and I really enjoy ASMR. So I made this channel as a way to really scratch the itch of my need for ASMR content that is specifically for IndyCar and Formula One, since I have so many ideas and information that I'd like to share. So today, we have in the past gone through standings with the free practice and qualifying, but I find it to be a little too cumbersome. So what we're going to do today is we're going to list the starting grid, and then we will list the results of the race, as well as calculate the number of points each driver gained or didn't gain, as well as our fastest lap, our fastest pit stop, and our driver of the day. We will also then look at our driver standings up until this point, and then our constructors up until this point, as well as a few fun facts that I prepared. Now, the reason I haven't posted in so long is purely because I got sick and it kind of hurt to whisper or, do a soft spoken. So I apologize for not being as up to date, but hopefully we're on the mend. So, okay. So sitting at pole position, we had Max Verstappen, and he had a time of 1:27.294. P2, we had Oscar Piastri, and he had a time of 1:27.304. Now, these times are their qualifying times. So P3 was George Russell with a time of 1:27.407. And then in P4 we had Charles Leclerc, and he had a time of 1:27.670. P5, we had Kimi Antonelli, and his time was 127.866. P6, we had Carlos Sainz, and his time was 128.164. P7 was Lewis Hamilton, and Sir Hamilton with Ferrari had a time of 128.201. P8, we had Yuki Tsunoda with VCARB with a time of 128.204. P9, we had Pierre Gasly, and his time was 128.367. In P10, we had Lando Norris, which he qualified P10 because he actually crashed out in free practice 3. He hit the wall, so he didn't have a time, which really was not great news for Lando fans. P11, we had Alex Albon. He had a time of 128.109. And in P12, we had Liam Lawson, and he had a time of 128.191. P13, we had Fernando Alonso. He had a time of 128.303. P14, we had Isaac Ajar, and he had a time of 128.418. I'm using my cheat sheet here, so if you see that, that's what that is. P15, we had Ollie Behrman. Excuse me, I'm trying not to sneeze. 128.648. P16, we had Lance Stroll with Aston Martin and a time of 128.645. P17 is Jack Doohan. He had a time of 128.739. P18, Nico Hulkenberg. Oops. And he had a time of 128.782. P19, we had Esteban Ocon. So, I have an F1 podcast. I'm not trying to cross promote it, but if you want to listen to it, it's called F1derland. So F1DERLAND. And it's just kind of like a silly podcast with two of my friends. But there's a funny story about Esteban Ocon. In one of the seasons, just said Ocorn. I don't know why it just came out that way, and so now every time I say Esteban Ocon, I always have to stop myself from saying Esteban Ocorn because it's a joke. So if I accidentally say Esteban Ocorn instead of Ocon, that is why. P20th, we had Gabriel Bortoleto, and his time was 129.462. So that was our starting grid. Max, Oscar, George, Charles, Kimmy, Carlos, Louis, Yuki, Pierre, Lando, Alex, Liam, Fernando, Isaac, Ollie, Lance, Jack, Nico, Esteban, Gabrielle. Okay, that is your starting grid. Now let's move on to our race results. So let's actually start with last place, and then we'll move up. So in last place we have Yuki Tsunoda, and Pierre Gasly. Now, each of these gentlemen did not finish, as they had a collision in the first lap, which you can have your own opinion after watching. I'm not very pleased with Yuki as of late, but it's an accident, it's fine. I'm just more pissed because I moved Pierre Gasly into my fantasy this week, and I was like, oh, he's doing so well, he's qualifying so well, and then Yuki and him get in an accident, so I was not very happy, but whatever. P18 we have Gabrielle Bortoletto, I didn't spell that. I mean, it did spell it right, just don't look right. Okay, and then we had P17, we had Jack Doohan. P16, we had Lance Stroll. P15, we had Nico Hülkenberg. P14, we had Esteban Ocon. P13, we had Ollie Behrman, or Oliver Behrman. P12, we had Liam Lawson. In P11, we had Fernando Alonso. Starting with your top 10, we had ASMcaR. In P9, we had Alexander Albon. P8, we had Carlos Sainz. In P7, we had 7-time world champion Sir Lewis Hamilton. P6, we had Kimi Antonelli. P5, our top 5 was George And then our podium finishers in P3, we had the man from Monaco, Charles Leclerc. P2, we had Max Verstappen. And winning the Saudi Arabian, I almost said Azerbaijan, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for 2025 was Oscar Piastri. Now, we had Oscar, Max, Charles, our top three. The number one driver receives 25 points. P2 receives 18 points. P3 receives, wait, no. I think it's 20, hold on. No, I was right. 25. P2, 18 points. Charles in P3 gets 15 points. Lando Norris gets 12 points. George gets 10. Kimi Antonelli gets 8. Lewis Hamilton receives 6. Carlos receives 4. Alex 2. Isaac 1. And then Fernando Alonso alongside Liam Lawson, Ollie Behrman, Esteban Ocon, Nico Hülkenberg, Lance Stroll, Jack Doohan, Gabriel Bortoleto, Pierre Gasly, and Yuki Tsunoda all receive 0 points. So, our fastest lap of the day was Lando Norris. With McLaren, a time of 1:22.167 seconds. Which means that he has now beaten Lewis Hamilton. So that was 1:22.167 seconds. And that was Lando Norris 2025. Okay, our fastest pit stop was Ferrari. Specifically, Charles Leclerc with a time of 2.07 seconds. This is also a clean sweep. Ferrari has managed to get the fastest pit stop in every single race this year. At least that's what the internet is telling me. Our driver of the day was, who was it? I think it was Max. Yeah, I think it was Max. So that is the results of our race. Now, this is the circuit of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It is at the Jeddah Circuit, and I have a couple of fun facts that I wanted to read. So the Jeddah Corniche Circuit is the second longest circuit on the F1 calendar, and it's just behind Spa, not like a spa that you go to, but Spa, the racetrack. The speed, it's known as one of the fastest circuits, where drivers' average speeds close to 245 kilometers per hour, which is about 151 miles per hour. The design of the circuit features 27 corners and is situated along the Red Sea, offering a picturesque backdrop for night races. The combination of high-speed sections and tight corners demands precision with minimal room for error due to close barriers. The track debuted in the F1 calendar in December of 2021, so this was its fourth Grand Prix. Okay, let's move on to where our drivers and our constructors are. So, let's start with P20th again. And excuse me while I have to pull it up here. Okay. In P20th with 0 points. Actually, let's go P17. P17 through 20th at 0 points. 16th place, 15th, and 14th place all have 5. And then we have P11, 12, and 13 with 6. P10, we have 10 points. P9, 14. P8, 20. P7, 31. P6, 38. P5, 47, 47, 47. P4, we have 73. P3, 87 points, 87 points. P2, we have 89 points. And P1, we have just shy of 100 points, 99 points. Okay, actually, let's just keep it right here. So in P20th, or I guess the last four drivers. Fernando, Alonso, Liam Lawson, Jack Doohan, and Gabriel Bortoleto. P16, we have Yuki Tsunoda, P15, we have Carlos Sainz. P14 is Isaac Hajar. And P13, we have Ali Behrman, or Oliver Behrman. And P12, we have Nico Hulkenberg. Alright, P11 is Pierre Gasly. Alright, in our top 10, we have Lance Stroll. P9, we have Esteban Ocon. P8 is Alexander Albon. Alex Albon. P7 is Lewis Hamilton. P6 Kimi Antonelli. Our top 5 drivers are Charles Leclerc. P4 is George Russell. P3 Max Verstappen. And a dramatic shift this week, overtaking Lando Norris as the leading world champion was his own teammate, Oscar Piastri. Which then makes us have our team standings with Kick Sauber having 6 points, Alpine also having 6 points, VCAR, which is Visa Cash App Racing Balls, has 8 points. Aston Martin has a total of 10 points from Lance Stroll. Haas has a total of 20 points. Williams has a total of 25 points. Fourth place right now is Ferrari with a total of 78 points. P3 is Red Bull Racing with a total of 89 points. In second place, Mercedes with a total of 111 points. And your leading constructors and reigning world champions Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, Williams, Haas, Aston Martin, V-Carb, Alpine, Kick, Sauber. So that is your race results, as well as your 2025 current drivers and constructors world champion standings. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you watched the 2025 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, leave a like, a comment, or even subscribe and let me know what your thoughts were. Let me know what team you're rooting for. And if you made it this far into the video, I hope you were able to cross that finish line into relaxation. Until next time.